starting on the pole, the second B, and as I was saying to Gary Stoller, not the way you want to get into Pittsburgher, but it's an awful good way to start the B to get in.
Yeah, if you have to run a consi, that's certainly the best place to start, from the pole, or the outside pole is usually good here at Pittsburgh too.
Ed, let's excellent story. Dow just mentioned an excellent story in Trackside Magazine on you and your family as your kids start coming into the sport. Let's talk about that for a quick minute. I know Alex was out here and he's trying to get in the race as well.
Yeah, he's running a spec motor car. I think he's in trouble today. He'd have been all right yesterday when the track was slick, but it's starting to come up now, and I've got that 402 Drame and starting to use everything it has out there to get around.
19-second laps this morning. Everybody's pretty quick. Were you a little bit surprised that the track was as fast as it was this morning?
No, I was kind of expecting it to come up. It scared me a little bit the first two sessions that I went out. It was still a little slick, and I wasn't set up for a slick racetrack. But then by the time the third session came around, I was pretty good. I was down in the 19s, too.
Speaking of scary, the hot laps yesterday morning after the rain, it's about as fast as I've ever seen anybody on this racetrack. How was it in the car?
Yeah, the track was tight, but being a veteran here at Pittsburgh, I knew it wasn't going to take long to blow that mud off, and then you end up with a slick racetrack. Then you have to either run on the bottom or run on the top. Top ended up the fastest way around, and that's where we ended up qualified, I guess, 20th.
Ed Free starting on the pole, second B main. Ed, best of luck to you, and hopefully we'll see you in the starting field of this year's 9th annual Pittsburgher 100.
Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it, and I sure hope to be there.
Folks, again, you can tune in AM 530 on your radio to hear the races being broadcast. AM 530. Yeah, stand right by Smokey. Future event will receive points toward the Pro Shocks B-Main Points Fund. Pro Shocks, an industry leader in racing suspension. To try and make the starting field for the Pittsburgher 100, this is the last chance for these drivers. 3 will move on. Pace trucker moving off. We're ready to go.
28 and 9. Okay.
As long as we agree, right?
Pro Shocks Bean Main number 1. Mark Burnell, the T8. Ronnie Johnson in car 5. Bring the field off the fourth turn. The green is out, and we're underway. Into turn number 1, Burnell with the lead. Dick Barton in car 28 moves to second. Johnson up close to the wall. Crawford close to the wall. Durborough splits the seam down the back straightaway. Crawford, the steering broken on the right front of the car. The 9C of Doug Crawford. Caution is out. Caution is out. 9C, Doug Crawford.
Late restart, 9C.
And the 88 of Bill Rigas. Because two wreckers bringing off the 9C of Doug Crawford. Watch Geisler, he's way out.
Geisler, don't start him, Greg. Geisler's way out.
Caution back up, guys. Watch yourself, Jimmy. I don't know if I can see it.
Caution, Bob. Caution, caution. Need to get the 1C back behind the 80. 1C behind the 80.
Where's you need to be, Art?
Behind the 80.
Right, no laps down. Sherlock, you're going to get nailed here.
Here they come off the fourth turn. The green is out. They are slicing and dicing. It's Bernal leading, Johnson second, Barton third, Durborough out of shape in the 24. They're all bunched together on the backstretch into turn 3. Ronnie Johnson has got the lead into turn 4. Bernal second, Barton runs third. Bernal pressuring Johnson for the lead into turn number 1. Ronnie Johnson out of Chattanooga, Tennessee in the Masters Build race cars. AFCO number 5 leading. Dick Barton in the 28 trying to take second away from the T8 of Mark Banal. Into turn 1, they're side by side for second. John Mason, who started 10th, coming forward. He's up to 5th as Barton in the 28 and Banal in the T8 continue their side by side battle for second. Barton takes over second. Banal now back in the final transfer spot in the T8. Matt Miller running 4th. Racing John Mason is 5th. Four laps down. Ronnie Johnson pulling away. Dick Barton comfortably in second. Mark Banal third. Miller, Mason, Gross, Durborough, Petrucci next in line. Car spinning in turns 3 and 4. John Venable in the 01 spins around. Caution is out. Also involved the 21 of Matt Sherlock. Look out. Race leader Ronnie Johnson makes it through.
01-21 tail.
To go right now, Mark Banal, the man on the bubble in car T8. Start. We are back up to speed. Off the 4th turn, the green is back out. Look at Matt Miller in the 7th. Right there with the T8 of Mark Banal, trying to get him on the outside. Meantime, we've got a spin here off of 4. Caution is back out. 48, Charlie Fisher. 48, Charlie Fisher.
Caution, Bob. Caution, caution, caution.
Charlie Fisher in car 48. Back up to speed. The green is back out. Here they come off of 4. Johnson, Barton, Banal, and Matt Miller on the outside, taking over third.
80 in the wall now.
We got another wreck. Brian Durig in car 80. Brian Durig in car 80.
T8 to third, Jimmy. T8 to third.
A break for Mark Banal. A break for Mark Banal. He'll get the restart in that 3rd spot. 15 laps still to go in this first Pro Shocks B main for the Stars by Arizona Racing Series. Green is back out. Here they come off of turn 4. And Matt Miller slingshots to the inside, but now this time as they race into turn number 1. Banal trying to get back underneath him in turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, it's Miller on the outside, Banal on the inside, rubbing wheels as they race into 3.
He'll take care of it.
Matt Miller and Mark Banal. Miller makes the pass coming off of turn 4. John Mason now putting the pressure on Banal for 4th. Ronnie Johnson, your leader. Dick Barton is 2nd. Chattanooga's Ronnie Johnson trying to make his 2nd Pittsburgher. Leads the way. The battle for 4th right now, John Mason. Putting the heat on Mark Banal. Johnson turning that last lap at 19.42 seconds. 19.42 for race leader Ronnie Johnson. That lead almost a full straight now. As we close in on the halfway point, getting close to the halfway point of this Pro Shocks B main, Nathan Durborough in the 24 picks up another spot. He went backwards early on, now coming back toward the front in car 24. Him smoke that right rear tire going into turn number 1. Halfway, 10 laps to go. 10 laps to go. Ronnie Johnson lead continues to grow. Johnson was last year's fast qualifier for the Pittsburgher, but mechanical problems in practice before the main event kept him on the sidelines. He is pulling away, 19.51, 1951 that lap. Barton still second. Now Mark Banal on the T8 has closed back in on the 7 of Matt Miller for third. Mark Banal on the T8 trying to regain that third spot. Into the pits. One car into the pits. 7 of Dave Troutman in the pits. Banal starting to come back on Miller as Don Gross in the 75 races with the 72 of John Mason for fourth. Miller able to pull away from Banal off of turn 2, and now Mason and Gross are right on Banal's bumper into turn number 3. Barton by himself in second. Johnson way out in front. Banal slips high off of turn 4. There goes Mason. There goes Gross. Banal spins in turn 2. Mark Banal spins the car in turn 2. The caution is out. Number 2 was 6. Green is back out. Miller slips, and here comes racing John Mason. Don Gross in car 75. Right next to Matt Miller, and Brian Durick spins in turn 4 in car 80. Car 80, Brian Durick brings out the caution another time. The second time he's lost the handle on a restart. A break for Matt Miller, car 7.
7 in third.
He'll move back into the third spot. A caution field first, Pro Shocks B main. A very slick surface. Started right on his bumper, and the green is back out. 6 laps to go. 6 to go. Mark Banal pitting in car T8. And here comes racing John Mason. 72, the Millersburg, Ohio driver, moves into third. Matt Miller 7 now, being pressured by the 75 of Don Gross for fourth. 75, Don Gross, car spinning. It's the 97 of Jeff Thomas. 07R Brent Raybergen involved. Couple of other cars spinning too. The 48 of Charlie Fisher. The 09 of Mark Petrucci comes to a stop. Caution is out. That lap counted, right? Lap counted. More than half the field was through before the caution. John Mason in the final transfer spot in third as the green comes back out. Don Gross in the 75, pressuring the 72 of John Mason for third. Couple of Buckeye drivers going at it here for the final transfer spot. Closing stages of the first Pro Shocks B main. Brian Durick off the pace in car 80. Racing John Mason now underneath Dick Barton for second. They're side by side off at 2. Barton wins the drag race down the backstretch. 2 laps to go, 2 to go. Barton still second, Mason third, and Gross is fourth. Here comes Don Gross. Not able to make the pass in turn 2. But second, third, and fourth hotly contested here with 1 more lap to go. 1 lap remaining. Ronnie Johnson has checked out again. The Chattanooga, Tennessee driver on his way to the Pro Shocks B main win. Dick Barton second right now, racing John Mason third, and Don Gross is fourth. Off of turn 4 in the Masters built AFCO 5, Ronnie Johnson wins your first Pro Shocks B main. Second to Dick Barton, John Mason third in the final transfer spot. Don Gross fourth, then Matt Miller, Nathan Durbrow, and Lynn Geisler. So one of our Fab Five ends his streak of making all the Pittsburghers. Western Pennsylvania's Lynn Geisler in the Cochran Automotive Budweiser 1C. Unable to come from the back up into the top three, and will not be in the Pittsburgher 100 starting field for the first time. Ronnie Johnson, last year's fast qualifier, but remember, never started the race last year. Motor problems in practice before the A main. This year, leading the heat last night, ended up third. And wins the first Pro Shocks B main this afternoon to move into the starting field. Joining him will be Asheville, New York's Dick Barton. Do they go across the scales at the weigh-in center to make it all official? Dick Barton in car 28, making his 7th Pittsburgher 100. And racing John Mason in car 72. Tell Smokey, I'll tell him when winning number will be drawn at the fuel stop. The 50-50 winning number will be drawn at the fuel stop. For second Pro Shocks B main, Ed Foree in car number 4, 19 Gary Stuhler. D4 Rick Dawson, RG3 Bob Salafi, 99T Ricky Thomas, 14 Jack Pencil, 32 Dave Groves, 31 Denny Chamberlain, 04 Bob Close, 22 Kevin Denton, 00H Chuck Harper, 61 Dan Armbruster, the 4 of Alex Foree, 75 Mel Minnick Jr., 1C Jim Zarin, 29 Ken Sheltonbrand, 17 Ed Dunn, also out there. 96 Keith Berner, 75 Dale Fuller, 6 Jim Lepro, 59 Dub Barnhouse, and 19 Mike Hendrickson.
Did your report come through now or not? Did you have to report through or not? Is it breaking up?
A little bit. You can't stand like more than. Rick Dawson, who ran the number 67 car here in the past, running one of the Jack Boggs cars, the D4 this weekend, starting inside the second row. Rick looking to bring the field around to the green off the 4th turn. Starter Greg Wheeling looking the field over as they come into turn number 4. At the chalk line they go, and the green is off, and Stuhler slips in the 19. Into turn 1. Foree leading, Salafi second, Stuhler is third, Ricky Thomas fourth, down the back straightaway. Salafi goes for the lead, Stuhler and Foree banging wheels into turn 3 and 4. Stuhler moves to second, Ricky Thomas to third, off at turn number 4. This is the last chance, letting it all hang out. Still Salafi, Stuhler, Thomas, Foree is 4th. Pencil is 5th, Groves is 6th, Chamberlain 7th, then Bob Close, Kevin Denton, and Rick Dawson. Jack Pencil in car number 14 into the 4th spot as Foree slips to 5th. Dave Groves picks up another spot in car 32. Foree, who started on the pole, back in the 6th spot. It's Bedford's Bob Salafi leading, Gary Stuhler second, and Ricky Thomas trying to make his first Pittsburgher in 3rd. Jack Pencil, another Bedford driver, 4th in the 14 as Foree continues to slip in the 4 car. The Cumberland Petroleum, Pepsi. RG3 of Bob Salafi. He's really given that right rear a workout. He is driving her hard into the turns. Your leader was Stuhler in pursuit. Off of turn 4, it's Bob Salafi completing lap 5. Got it clamped up a little bit by the looks of it. The car really rolling over onto the right side quite a bit. Dub Barnhouse pitting in car 59. Track picking up speed. .1 seconds for Bob Salathy. 20.1 seconds. Not as fast as Ronnie Johnson in that last B main. Stuhler trying to run down Salathy. Thomas solidly in third in the 99, the L. Thomas Body Shop machine. Salathy and Stuhler closing in on the back of the field. This is lap number 8 down now. 8 laps down, 12 to go. Down the back straightaway. Into 3. Still Salathy as they lap the 19 of Mike Hendrickson. Gary Stuhler closing in just a bit on race leader Bob Salathy. Stuhler's car staying straight through the corner. Salathy a little sideways, working that right rear a little more. 10 down, 10 to go. Jack Pencil in the 14 trying to close in on the 99 of Ricky Thomas for third. The final transfer spot. Dave Groves is fifth in car 32. Chamberlain is sixth, close seventh. Armbruster eighth, Faree ninth, and Dawson is 10th. Stuhler making up distance again on Bob Salathy. Eight laps to go. 8 laps to go. Car spinning in turn 4, spin in turn 4. 29 Ken Sheltonbrand brings out the caution. Ken Sheltonbrand in car 29 spins to bring out the caution with it.
He's struggling. I'll just give him a break. Easy experience.
Go ahead, real quick. Bob Salathy, Gary Stuhler, Ricky Thomas, your trio. Right now, the front 3. We're back on the gas. Thomas in the 99 gets a good start coming on the outside into turn number 1. Thought wiser of it, settles into third. Off at 2 down the back straightaway. It's Salathy out in front, Stuhler second, and Thomas, Pencil, and Chamberlain. Everyone hugging the inside rail here. Dave Groves goes backwards on the restart in car 32. Groves, loose coming off into 32, loses a couple of more spots. Up in turns 1 and 2, Kevin Denton has spun around. Kevin Denton in car 22 brings out the caution.
We don't need those records.
I need the 4D.
Record 61 of Dan Armbruster. That right rear quarter panel about to flatten the tire, so instead of blowing out a tire and causing a bad wreck. Denny Chamberlain in car 31 off the pace as the green is out. Green is out. Denny Chamberlain trying to get his car into the pits. The green is out. Lost Creek, West Virginia's Denny Chamberlain drops out of the Pro Shocks B main while running in the 5th spot. Still Bob Salathy, Gary Stuhler, Ricky Thomas, and Jack Pencil putting the pressure on Thomas. So trying to put the pressure to Thomas for third.
How many laps is that? 14? 15?
Got a spin in turn 1. Mike Hendrickson brings out the caution. Car 19, Mike Hendrickson, brings out the caution.
See what the problem is with Chamberlain.
At night, in one of our Super Series feature events, the Bedford Bullet, Bob Salathy. 5 laps to go, and here we go, back to green. Coming off that 4th turn, it is crowded down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Oh, Bob close in the 04 into the back end of Jack Pencil. Ricky Thomas in the 99 going on the outside. Ricky and Stuhler will to will for second right now. Coming off of 4, Thomas makes the pass, and Jack Pencil trying to take third away from Stuhler. Into turn number 1, it's Salathy leading. Thomas is second, Stuhler third. Jack Pencil fourth, and Bob Close fifth. Another spin in turn 2. Another spin in turn 2. Caution is out.
16 down.
16 laps down. He's got to be a very nervous young man right now because his car seems to slip on the takeoff. Doesn't seem to start going until he gets a lap or two, some heat in the tires. And right now, Jack Pencil will be right on his back bumper when we restart. Coming for the green. 4 laps to go. Here they come off of 4. Stuhler trying to protect the inside, and Jack Pencil sticks his nose down there but can't make it pass. TMI phone cards. Pepsi Cola 3 of Bob Salathy still leads. Ricky Thomas second. Gary Stuhler third, and Jack Pencil fourth. Pencil in the 14, and Gary Stuhler, the final transfer spot, up for grabs into turn 1. Pencil makes the pass. Gary Stuhler, another member of the Fabulous Five, on the verge of being exited from the Pittsburgher. 1 more lap to go. Stuhler trying to get under Pencil. Pencil slips high. Stuhler's back in third.
Got to talk to Stuhler, too.
Bob Salathy. Ricky Thomas. Who's going to be third? Off the 4th turn, Salathy will win. Thomas will get second. Pencil will go high, and Gary Stuhler is back in the Pittsburgher. Close 4th, Pencil 5th.
Yeah, get Salathy and Stuhler. We can't. Well, they're both at opposite ends of the pits. If we get a caution in the next race, grab Stuhler.
Okay, we got the RG.
Action is the attraction. Bob Salathy in the Pittsburgher. Ricky Thomas in the Pittsburgher for the very first time in car 99T, and Gary Stuhler keeps his string alive of making all 9 Pittsburgher 100s. Although it was close, Jack Pencil, an A for effort this afternoon, the Bedford driver, in that 3rd spot, only to see it go away on the very next lap. Shocks B Main is just about ready to go. We'll try to get some comments here real quick.
Go ahead.
We're ready to go with the 3rd Pro Shocks B Main. Quickly, the Gary Stuhler crew, the Beitler Racing team, another member of the Fab Five trying to keep that streak alive is Scott Bloomquist. He'll start on the pole for our 3rd Pro Shocks B Main with Steve Lucas alongside. Row 2, it's Mike Balzano and Lou Bradish. 82, Andy Freeze and Jason Manette in the 21. 87, Ben Belich, the 8 of Dennis Curry. 25, Mike Benedum in the 12 of Doug Dodd. 3, Rich Curry. 49, Brian Ruhlman. 20 Jason Sisson, 1P Rod Phillips, 76 Dave Wade.
What's that?
The 69 of Rich Gasparovich and Don Marcil in car 74.
Come out for pass laps, man.
It's like a regular Pittsburgh meeting,
Yes.
Pittsburgher 100. The only three-time winner of the race, Scott Bloomquist, starts from the pole in car 0. Beckley, West Virginia's Steve Lucas alongside. Off the fourth turn, they're on the gas, and the green is out. Well, Rich Curry slides up across the racetrack in the 3-car in the middle of the field. Out in front, it's Bloomquist. Balzano second and Steve Lucas third. Bradish looked like tire smoke on the fourth spin in turn 3 and 4. Doug Dodd in car 12 spins to the top of the racetrack. Caution is out. Caution out for the 12 of Doug Dodd. He'll have to restart on the rear. That lap counts.
Jeez, easy.
Running over the 25 of Mike Bennett.
Not stop unless the official stop.
Now we're gonna have this off.
Turbo.
Hate to see something like that happen whenever the green isn't even out.
Let's hurry, look at him.
87.8. What else? 21.
Okay, Bob. 82, 87, and then 8. 82, 80.
No, 76, 20, 74. Where's the 49?
25 go.
You should go back
Till
where.
25 goes.
Just behind the blue 8. 25 in front.
Then the 3 of Rich Curry, then the 1P of Rod Phillips.
Lines like that, you can't line them up.
Back up to speed. Here they come.
You go down and tell Hartley there's an outside chance he may get a provisional for this thing. 32 car, he's right behind him.
The 5 cars battling for third. Steve Lucas out of Beckley, West Virginia, trying to hold off Chester, West Virginia's Lou Bradish. Jason Manette to 21, up high off the second turn that lap, losing several spots. Still Bloomquist and Balzano with Steve Lucas third, Lou Bradish fourth, then Andy Freese in car 82 and Ben Belich in the 87. Laps to go, 14 laps to go now, 14 to go.
Turn 4.
We got a wreck in turn 4, 74 Don Marcil spinning in front of the race leaders. Everyone gets slowed down. Caution is... Oil pressure problem. Lou Bradish in car 5 complaining that the oil pressure is dropping on his machine, running in the 4th spot right now. Here they come off of turn number 4. Battle for 4th. Bradish slips high and Andy Freese moves by. Oh, Bradish is done. Bradish shut her off right there in the middle of the straightaway. Belich was right behind him. Ruhlman close to the wall. Lou Bradish lost the motor. The motor braking in the number 5. He was complaining right before the restart that he was losing oil pressure. And he jumped back on the gas and it went away. Mooresburg, Tennessee's Scott Bloomquist brings the field back up to speed. Mike Balzano right on his bumper coming off of turn 4. Bloomquist ain't fast at all. I had him on the clock for like 21 seconds. The track was, I don't think the track's taking any problems. It's getting like slicker and slicker. Times they were faster in the first peak than they are now. Bloomquist still leading. Balzano runs second. Lucas is third. Andy Freeze fourth. Dennis Curry is up to fifth. Then Jason Manitz, Rodney Phillips, Ben Belich with problems in the 87 car after making contact with Lou Bradish, who lost the motor coming down the front straightaway. Closing in on the halfway point. Closing in on the halfway point. First 3 spots, no one really contesting them right now. Ben Belich slowing down in car 87. Bloomquist turning that last lap at 20.6 seconds. 20.6 seconds for leader Scott Bloomquist. His lead is growing over Mike Balzano, completing lap 11, 9 more to go. 9 more laps remaining.
This is 11.
20.5, that last for Bloomquist, 20.5 as he starts to lap the back of the field. Doug Dodd in the pits in car 12. Dodd pitting, Belich pitted in car 87 too. Dennis Curry moving up another spot. He's to 4th in car 8, the Coors Light 8, up into the 4th spot. Andy Freeze back to 5th in car 82 with 5 more laps to go. 5 laps to go in the final Pro Shocks B main. Bloomquist now, the lap car of Don Marcil right in his path. Scott will go to the outside and by into turn 3. Oh, Balzano, close call as he just got by Marcil into turn 1. Inches. Steve Lucas in the 5 now trying to lap the 74. The Batavia, New York driver. Lucas goes to the inside. Running out of racetrack down low. And Dennis Curry is closing in car 8. Curry making a charge here, trying to take that 3rd and final spot. Bloomquist leads by half a stretch over Balzano. Steve Lucas is still 3rd in car 5. Dennis Curry in the 8 car. 4th and closing in. Now has to contend with the 74 of Don Marcil. 2 laps to go. 2 to go. Bloomquist needling his way around slower traffic in turn 3 to the outside of car 20, Jason Sisson. One more lap to go. One lap to go. Keeping alive his streak of making every Pittsburgher 100, the only three-time winner of the Pittsburgher from Mooresburg, Tennessee, Pro Shocks B main number 3 to Scott Bloomquist. Mike Balzano second and Steve Lucas third. Dennis Curry, Andy Freeze complete the top 5.
Good job, Scott. Right.
Well, Scott, the car didn't look too bad. Just didn't look quite as fast as what you normally are here at Pittsburgh.
I don't know. We just got a slow start. We got here late and we had we missed a couple of practice sessions and we just been behind a little bit all weekend. And, I think we're pretty good shape actually. Cars, every time I go out, we're getting better. And I really think we've got something for the race.
I remember a long time ago watching you race down at West Virginia Motor Speedway. First time I'd ever seen the 18 go, you started in the back of the C main and won it, in the back of the B main and won it. I think you finished second in a feature. We may be going to see that again today.
Well, let's hope we're not second in the feature, but we're gonna be running good, and we've got a CJ Rayburn race car here, and we're getting it working good, and everything looks good for the race. I think it's just the racetrack's kind of hard to pass on. It's going to be a little bit difficult to come from where I'm starting unless we get some track change. Seems like every time the clouds go over the racetrack, the track slicks up, and every time the sun comes out, it hooks up. So it's going to make for a lot of different things going on in the race.
All right, best of luck to you, Scott. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
National 100, and Jack qualifying at 18.932 seconds, second fastest qualifier. And Jack, by virtue of the dash, you'll be starting fourth this afternoon. The track's been through a lot of changes the last few days.
Yeah, I know. I ran the dash, and we needed. Yeah, I know. We ran the dash, and then you need to kind of run up high on the racetrack. Now today, it looks like it's toward the bottom, but it might change later on. I don't know. Right now, we got to start on the outside. We need to get to the bottom and get in the line and get going.
Jack, 250-lap segments with a fuel stop. Obviously, you're going to probably have a little bit of strategy playing into this. Is it going to be a situation where you're going to go out there with a certain line in mind, but you have to make adjustments as you go along?
Well, we can't do a lot of adjusting, but we do have a fuel stop. Maybe we can do some tire pressure adjusting or whatever. Just go see what happens, do the best we can.
Jack Boggs, second fastest qualifier, starting fourth for this afternoon's Pittsburgher 100. Give Jack Boggs a very big hand.
Thank you.
The man setting a new track record for the Pittsburgher, Ricky Eckert. Rick, 18.875 seconds, and yesterday track was bad fast.
Yeah, big difference from the day. Yesterday was real quick. Actually, today the times are getting real quick. It's just yesterday you could maneuver around the racetrack a little bit better than you can today. But, we don't have that bad a starting spot, so.
Ricky, last practice session, is the car doing pretty much what you expected? Obviously, this is pretty much the shape the track usually is for the Pittsburgher.
Yeah, usually this place don't throw you too many curves. I think normally they got 2 races here right now, last couple of years. So we're going to start a little earlier. That's going to throw a little bit of a curve into it, but I think we'll be all right.
Rick, we've talked to a lot of drivers throughout the weekend, and this year it's the first year for a fuel stop for the Pittsburgher. Does it make any difference to you guys when you're running this race?
Yeah, it takes about 45 minutes longer. I wish it wouldn't have it.
All righty, Rick Eckert, starting fifth by virtue of the finish of the dash yesterday. Rick, the fastest qualifier for today's Pittsburgher 100, setting a new track record at 18.875 seconds. One more thing, Rick, how fast was it yesterday in hot laps yesterday morning? 17-second laps?
There was a couple guys that were in the 17s. Yeah, I was one of them. And 31 car was really quick yesterday too, early.
Rick, the folks at Quaker Steak and Lube have a check for you, which I know always puts a smile on your face. Congratulations and good luck for you. Good luck to you this afternoon.
Thanks a lot.
Congratulations, Rick.
Thank you.
Nadine Burble with Quaker Steak and Lube. And Nadine, real quick, let's let the fans know where they can go to Quaker Steak.
Absolutely. You're all invited to come down to Quaker Steak and Lube, located at the point directly across from Robinson Town Center. Make sure you bring your $2 off coupon for your favorite bucket of wings. Thanks again and see you soon.
Over here.
By the way, Bart Hartman fans, as you can see, the problem's been fixed, and Bart is in the starting field here this afternoon. Now, the last time I saw you ride, you were standing in victory lane at Pennsboro Speedway, fresh off of winning the Hillbilly 100. I think you're still smiling as wide today as you were then.
Yeah, I probably am.
That had to be a great thrill for you. You've won 3 Stars races this year. You're in the thick of the points battle. It's really been a good 1997.
Yeah, I've had a really good year this year, and I like to finish off strong.
Your whole family, your brother, RJ, your dad, Delmas, you're all in the field. First time we've ever had 3 family members. We've had an uncle and 2 nephews, but never a father and 2 sons in the race. So you're making a little history here, and I imagine you guys make that history a lot of places you go.
Yeah, RJ's been running real good all year, and so has Dad. We've had a real good year this year.
Well, best of luck to you this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Rod.
Stand for the balloons out.
Out here.
I know.
Somebody's running behind the stand. What? I'm running into this. I think somebody was running behind the stand. I don't see the car have to get around the track with this one lap. Started motor. I just wonder
The Calusi Chevy Geo pace truck, joined by the Dirt Track World Championship pace truck, bringing the field around the Monster Half Mile. 31 cars, 100 laps, the 9th annual Stars-sanctioned Pittsburgher 100.
I am now finished. Sit down and enjoy 100 laps.
They're going for a press now, Bob. We expect that light. This is
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Y'all ready for this?
Hi. It's so slick out there. It's going to be tough the first few laps, man.
Call the airport? Did they call the airport?
Pace tracks are headed pit side. Todd Andrews in car 42, Steve Francis in car 15, ready to bring the field around for the 9th annual Pittsburgher 100. Looking for the chalk line in turn number 4. Todd Andrews, car 42. Steve Francis in the 15. Not a good start, but the green is out. Some guessing going on there as to who was going to be the pace setter. Into turn 1. They're side by side for the lead. Side by side battle continues down the back straightaway. Into turn 3. Andrews on the inside. To his outside, the 15 of Steve Francis. Coming off of turn 4, Todd Andrews will lead lap 1. Jack Boggs 3rd, Rick Eckert 4th, Rod Conley 5th, Bart Hartman moving into 6th. Down the back straightaway. Into 3, it's still Andrews, Francis, Boggs, Eckert, Rod Conley, Bart Hartman, Tim Hitt, Rick Auckland as everyone parades around the low side of the racetrack.
He was an alternate, Walter. He was an alternate. He's okay.
Lap 3, still Todd Andrews, and he's opening up some daylight now. Everybody's got real hard tires on. They're sliding out there. Rick Auckland picks up another spot in car 12. Racing John Mason trying to run the top side in car 72. Andrews lead a half a straightaway. Bart Hartman in car 75, passing Rod Conley in the 71, moving to 5th. Rick Auckland also passing Rod Conley. Auckland now into the 6th spot in car 12. John Mason and Scott Bloomquist continue to try to run the top side, trying to get a groove run in up high. Andrews leading by half a straight. Steve Francis in the 15. He tries the top side that time in turns 1 and 2. Andrews about to start lapping cars. He's close to the back of the field. John Mason is picking up spots on that outside. Mason in the middle of the pack coming through 3 and 4 is working up high. Todd Andrews pulling away. Leads by a straightaway. Car spinning down the back straightaway to the E1 of Mike Balzano. Caution is out for the E1 of Mike Balzano.
Right down.
3172.
3172. 31. So, I say better, 30.
31. Well, that's what you just said. I have 31-1 J. That's what I have. I have after the 3, yes. Okay, it'll work because that's right. You guys got that.
Green is back out. Rick Auckland in car 12, Bart Hartman in car 75. Both pick up a spot. Hartman to 3rd, Auckland to 5th. There goes racing John Mason right back to the top side. Bart Hartman trying to take 2nd away from the 15 of Steve Francis. Tim Hitt trying to move on the middle side of the racetrack in car 68. Andrews leads. Hartman is in 2nd now. Francis goes up high in the 15. He is 3rd. Boggs 4th. Auckland 5th. Eckert runs 6th. Conley and Hitt side by side for 7th. Conley 7th. Hitt 8th. Bragdon 9th. Moran runs 10th. In the middle of the pack, there's a real battle going on down the back straightaway. 2 and 3 wide as they enter turn number 3. Bart Hartman trying to close in on Todd Andrews for the lead. Scott Bloomquist and John Mason way up top as they try to come from near the back of the field, also up high. The 71C of R.J. Conley right in front of Mason. And look at Bart Hartman closing in, just 2 car lengths out of the lead now. Off at 2, Hartman right behind Todd Andrews. They continue to run the low side. Francis up high in third. Boggs is down low in the B4 trying to take third off of turn 4. 14 laps are down. 14 laps are down. Rick Auckland into 4th in car 12. 15 laps complete. Caution, we've got a spin in turn number 3. 99T Ricky Thomas brings out the caution. Mike Benedum pitting in car 25. Malquit has a flat left front tire. Malquit left front tire flat on car 79.
Okay, 2 laps for Malquit, flat tire.
Out of the 99T of Ricky Thomas. Green is back out. Bart Hartman had a moment there, looked like he would try the outside. Instead, he tries to get underneath Todd Andrews, and here comes racing John Mason. Hartman trying to take the lead. Look at Mason. Oh, he and Boggs collide on the back straightaway. Boggs goes spinning hard into the tires inside the backstretch. Caution is out.
This guy's running out there.
Caution is out. Jack Boggs in car B4.
He's okay. He bounced. He's okay.
Yeah.
42's your leader. 42's your leader. Behind the 99. 72 behind the 99.
Jack Boggs is okay. Jack Boggs is fine. Steve Lucas pitting in car 5L. Steve Shaver back in car 30. Mike Benedum pits in car 25. Todd Andrews brings the field back up to speed, and here comes Bart Hartman. Hartman in the 75 will take the lead, or try to take the lead on the inside in turn 1. Once again, John Mason to the outside. Tim Hitt also up high. Rick Auckland in car 12 takes third. There goes Mason, side by side for the lead. Hartman and Andrews. Bart Hartman leading, lap 16. John Mason trying to move into the top 5. Mason up to 5th now. He'll dive underneath Francis. In turns 3 and 4, Auckland still 3rd. Francis 4th, Mason 5th, Eckert 6th, then Moran hit, and here comes Bloomquist. Bart Hartman still leading in car 75. Todd Andrews is 2nd. Mason slides up. Francis still 3rd, Mason 4th. Excuse me, Francis 4th, Mason 5th. Bart Hartman's lead almost a half a straightaway. Close to lap 20. Rick Auckland trying to move into 2nd. He pressures the 42 of Todd Andrews down the backstretch. 20 laps are down, 20 laps complete. Donnie Moran underneath the 24 of Rick Eckert. Eckert holds him off into turn 1. The Hartman Truck Center 75 of Bart Hartman pulling away from the field. Scott Bloomquist and Donnie Moran waging battle. Seventh and eighth, Moran and Bloomquist as they head into turn number 3. Hartman closing in on the back of the field. Bloomquist now underneath Moran down the backstretch. Eckert gets by Mason into turn 3 down low. Bloomquist picks up another spot. Moran tries to get back by him but can't off at turn 4. Hartman starting to lap cars into turn number 3. John Mason and Rick Eckert wheel to wheel, not wheel to wheel, but side by side in turn 1. That battle for 5th off of turn 2. Mason on the outside gets back by Eckert, trying to move by Francis for 4th. Hartman in lap traffic in turn 1 with 25 laps complete, 25 down. Racing John Mason. Starting again in the 25th spot, trying to move to 4th down the backstretch in car 72. He's got 4th into turn 3. Hartman continues to work through thick traffic, but his lead is not shrinking right now. Eckert underneath Steve Francis in the battle for 5th. Rick Auckland has moved to 2nd. Rick Auckland taking 2nd from Todd Andrews. And now Scott Bloomquist, Rick Eckert, and Steve Francis 3 wide down the front straightaway. 3 wide in turns 1 and 2. Moran's in there. It's almost a 4-car battle. Off at 2 down the backstretch. John Mason about to take 2nd away from Rick Auckland on the top side of 3 and 4. Hartman still leading by a straightaway. There goes racing John Mason to 2nd. Bart Hartman leading by a straightaway. Mason 2nd, Auckland 3rd, Andrews is 4th, Francis 5th now, then Eckert, Bloomquist, and Moran a bunch together in turn 3. Three wide again. Eckert, Bloomquist, and Francis into turn number 1. Rick Auckland back underneath John Mason for 2nd as they try to lap the 32 of Scott Hartley. In turn 4, Mason up high, higher than normal off that 4th turn, but he'll hold on to 2nd. Moran now ahead of Bloomquist, Francis into turn 1. Meantime, Bart Hartman still leads by a straightaway. 30 laps are down. This is lap 31 this time by. "31 laps complete. Three-lap cars between 1st and 2nd. Bart Hartman, Chubb Frank, B.A. Malquit, then Johnny Johnson, and then the 2nd place car of John Mason. Rick Auckland back a ways in 3rd. Todd Andrews is still 4th, and now Scott Bloomquist trying to move to 5th in car 0. We got a spin on the backstretch. 1J, Davy Johnson, spun on the back straightaway to bring...
0 or...
Coming from 25th to second here with 32 laps down. Going green the next time by.
627.
We're looking at Chubb's rear end. I don't know for something.
Well, Chubb's out, Johnny's out.
Okay. R1 and who else?
Green is out. Hartman leads them off of 4. Malquit sliding up high. Here comes Racing John Mason trying to get by Malquit into turn 1. Auckland underneath Mason for second. Down the back straightaway. Bloomquist now trying to take 4th away from Todd Andrews as they work thick traffic through 3 and 4. Rick Auckland back into second. Mason is 3rd. Bloomquist up to 4th. Andrews is 5th. Eckert 6th. Moran 7th. Gary Stuhler trying to move to 8th after an early pit stop in the 19. Racing John Mason still trying to get by the 79 of B.A. Malquit in turns 1 and 2. Scott Bloomquist also in a bunch of traffic as Todd Andrews gets underneath him off the second turn in that race for 4th down the backstretch. Mason now to the outside of Malquit coming off of turn 4. Hartman out in front, Auckland 2nd, Mason 3rd. Bloomquist is 4th right now, Andrews 5th. Eckert and Moran side by side for 6th. Stuhler is up to 8th again. Gary Stuhler up to 8th in car 19. Mike Johnson and Bob Salathy battling for 10th with Steve Francis. They're 3 wide into turn number 1. Scott Bloomquist getting by the 5L of Steve Lucas. A lap car, but Lucas gets back by Bloomquist into 3. Hartman leading, Auckland maybe closing in 2nd. Mason in striking distance in 3rd, Bloomquist still 4th. Andrews 5th, Moran 6th, Eckert 7th, Stuhler 8th, Mike Johnson 9th, and Bob Salathy is 10th. Spin, or a stop up atop the 4th turn. Steve Francis in car 15.
Okay, we got a caution's out.
Brings out the caution. Steve Francis in car 15 brings out the caution.
79, 5L, 0, 25, 42. Damn guys get in line, we'll be all right here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, 75 is good. 12 is good. 72 is good. 79 is good. 5L is good. 0 is good.
31's in the
31's in the pit. 7's good. 81's good. No. He said he had problems with the rear end.
Green is back out. Here goes Racing John Mason on the top side, trying to take 2nd back. He's got it into turn number 3. Mason trying to take the lead off the 4th turn up top. It's Hartman, your leader. Mason is 2nd in closing. Auckland 3rd. Bloomquist is 4th. Donnie Moran trying to move into 5th on the outside of Todd Andrews. Down the backstretch, here comes Racing John Mason. Side by side for the lead. in 3 and 4. Off the 4th turn, Mason is your leader from 25th to 1st in 40 laps. Hartman 2nd, Auckland 3rd, Bloomquist 4th. Moran is 5th. Andrews 6th, Bob Salathe running 7th, Gary Stuhler 8th, and Mike Johnson, Delmas Conley, and Rick Eckert running for that 10th spot. He's flying to the top side's the way to go, man. 8 laps to the fuel stop. 8 laps to the fuel stop. Bob Salathe in the RG3 to the outside, trying to move into 5th. Donnie Moran in the 5th spot right now, down low in car 99. Dick Barton pitting in car 28B. Dick Barton in the pits in car 28B. John Mason, Bart Hartman, and Rick Auckland off a turn 2 down the back straightaway. Five more laps to the halfway fuel stop. 5 more laps to the halfway fuel stop.
5 laps to fuel stop, guys. 5 laps to fuel stop.
Here comes Rick Auckland down low in the 12 car. The Easy Crushers 12. Putting the pressure on the 75 of Bart Hartman for 2nd. Racing John Mason runs around the top side of the racetrack in the Malkwood Racing Engines Masters Built chassis number 72. About the fuel stop. Nobody wants to hurt the car. You got to sit there and run anyway. Now. 2 laps to go to the halfway point. 2 laps to the halfway point. Mason Hartman, and here comes Rick Auckland. Auckland down on the inside, trying to move into 2nd. He and Hartman wheel to wheel into 3. The lap car, Barry Bragdon, right in front of Auckland as he comes off the 4th turn. Auckland, though, is 2nd that time by Hartman 3rd. Bart Hartman now back underneath Bragdon. Close call there off the 2nd turn. Halfway this time by. Halfway this time by, and Rick Auckland closing in on John Mason. Auckland trying to take the lead, but it's the halfway mark. We're at 50 laps. Caution comes out now that all cars have completed 50 laps. Caution is out. The Mason leads, right? Halfway fuel stop coming up. John Mason is your leader. John Mason, the leader at the 50-lap mark. Rick Auckland, who passed Mason after the 50-lap mark, but the lap did not count, will restart in 2nd with Bart Hartman 3rd, Scott Bloomquist 4th, Donnie Moran 5th. There's a few laps. Drivers need to be back in the cars.
One more minute, Greg. One more minute.
24, 71.
71R Rod Conley also in the pits. It's slippery. It hasn't picked up any speed at all. It's slippery from side. The green is out. Second half of the Pittsburgher 100 underway. They slide off of 4. Mason leading, Auckland a close second, Hartman third, and Bloomquist now. No lap traffic in front of him. He's in fourth. Auckland slipped down low, held onto it, and he'll make a run at Mason off of 2 down the back stretch. Bloomquist goes back up high with Mason. They've been that way the whole first half. Scott Bloomquist on his way to third. Rick Auckland trying to take the lead. Down low in the Easy Crushers 12. And we got a crash off of 4. Delmas Conley in the 7. And the 24 of Rick Eckert. 24 Rick Eckert and the 7 of Delmas Conley, both in the pits.
42's back in. 71C.
Rick Eckert and Delmas Conley in car 7. The 2 cars involved. Looks like Eckert's right side of his car went up over the back of the 7 car.
81-68.
Green is back out. Mason goes down a little lower this time. Bloomquist is coming up top, and Auckland is down on the guardrail. 3 wide for the lead down the front stretch. Into turn 1. Auckland, Bloomquist, and Mason. Off at 2 down the back straightaway. Mason still leads into 3. Hartman is 4th. Moran running 5th. Scott Bloomquist is 2nd. Off of 4. Scott Bloomquist and John Mason. Bloomquist your leader at the flag stand. Auckland right there behind Bloomquist. Down low, Bloomquist has the lead off at 2. Here comes racing John Mason into 3. Off of 4, Mason up high, Bloomquist down low, Bloomquist leads. Mason 2nd, Auckland 3rd again into 1. 3 wide for the lead in 2. Auckland goes by Bloomquist and Mason. Mason leads into 3. Off of 4, Rick Auckland has got the lead. Auckland leading. Mason 2nd, Bloomquist 3rd, Hartman is 4th. Gary Stuhler, who pitted early, up to 6th in car 19, pressuring Donnie Moran for 5th. 55 laps down, 55 laps down. Still Rick Auckland, John Mason, Scott Bloomquist, and Bart Hartman. Who's going to be 5th? Gary Stuhler in the 19 or 99, Donnie Moran. Stuhler 5th this time by. Tim Hitt coming back to the front in car 68. Bloomquist close to Mason for 2nd in turn 3. The Easy Crushers 12 of Rick Auckland continues to lead. John Mason 2nd and Scott Bloomquist 3rd with Bart Hartman now right behind Bloomquist. So as fast as Bloomquist went to the front, He's now holding on for third. Stuhlert, fifth. Moran, sixth. Hitt is seventh. Davy Johnson, eighth. Skip Arp, ninth. And Steve Baker is 10th in car 84. Lap traffic could play a role here shortly. Auckland's lead almost a full straight. Coming around to complete lap 60, 40 laps to go, 40 laps remaining. Auckland starting to lap the back of the field. Gary Stuhler in the 19. Underneath the 75 of Bart Hartman, trying to move into fourth in turns 1 and 2. Stuhler makes the pass easily. Auckland in traffic in 4. Close call with the 77 of Barry Bragdon. Bloomquist back on the inside now. Close to the 72 of Mason for third, or second. Thick traffic building up in front of race leader Rick Auckland. Again, Scott Bloomquist and John Mason side by side for second. Down the back straightaway into turn number 3. The lap car of Scott Hartley on the outside. Bloomquist takes the second spot. Gary Stuhler close to third. Tim Hitt underneath Bart Hartman. Into the top 5. Tim Hitt is 5th in car 68. 32 Scott Hartley pitting. 65 laps complete. Spin and turn. Skip Arp in car 31 spins in turn 1 and 2. The green stays out. Skip Arp spinning and continuing in car 31. Auckland working his way through the back of the field. Straight away ahead of Scott Bloomquist with Gary Stuhler third. Tim Hitt is 4th. Bart Hartman 5th. John Mason has faded to 6th. Donnie Moran runs 7th. Davy Johnson is 8th. Skip Arp is 9th. And Rod Conley 10th in car 71. Brad Malquit pitting in car 79. Look at this 4-wide battle down the front stretch into 1. Right in front of race leader Rick Auckland. He's got some work to do now. And he is flying. Auckland is really picking up the pace here. Into turn number 3 with plenty of traffic in front of him. Scott Bloomquist still a straightaway back in second with Gary Stuhler third. Hitt is 4th and Hartman 5th. Laps to go. Less than 30 now. 29 as your leader comes off at turn 4, completing lap 71. John Mason slowing down in car 72. Mason slows down on the racetrack in turn 3. Caution is out. Caution out for the 72 of Racing John Mason. Looks like a front tire flat. There goes Steve Shaver back in the pits. Mason, the right front is flat.
2 laps.
Right front is flat on the 72 of John Mason.
12.584. 12.584. 2. Good. 24 good. 75 is good. 77.
Gary Stuhler, the 19, has come from the back of the pack after that early caution for third right now. Tim Hitt is fourth in the 68, and Bart Hartman is fifth in car 75.
Andrews, Hartman, Mason, Andrews, Hartman.
29 to go. Clear racetrack in front of Rick Auckland. 6 lap cars back to the second place car of Scott Bloomquist, who's got his back bumper covered by the 19 of Gary Stuhler. Ronnie Johnson trying to unlap himself in car 5. Johnson fighting to get back on the lead lap in car 5. Bloomquist trying to fight through lap traffic on the back straightaway. Ronnie Johnson giving Rick Auckland a run out there. He's like a rabbit pacing the Greyhound here. 26 laps to go. Scott Bloomquist trying to split 2 lap cars down the front straightaway. And Gary Stuhler right there. In fact, Tim Hitt is now up to third. Tim Hitt in car 68 is up to third, trying to take second away from Bloomquist. This one's for second. Last year was for the lead. 25 laps to go. Stuhler and Hitt wheel to wheel for third into turn 1. Auckland is back ahead of Johnson into 3. Bloomquist trying to get by R.J. Conley and Steve Baker. Scott Bloomquist now has cleared lap traffic. Gary Stuhler and Tim Hitt right behind Bloomquist down the backstretch in the middle of the R.J. Conley, Steve Baker battle. Rick Auckland just pulling away at ease here in the late stages. More than a straightaway in front of Scott Bloomquist. Gary Stuhler still third. Fourth is Tim Hitt. Bart Hartman is fifth. Then I believe Donnie Moran is sixth. Here comes Tim Hitt making another run at Gary Stuhler for third into turn number 3. 20 laps to go. Leader Rick Auckland in turn 1. Hit underneath Stuhler again. Into turn number 1. Timmy hit in third. Gary Stuhler closes right back in, though, in the 19 car. A close call with Barry Bragdon coming down the front stretch into turn 1. Still a straightaway lead over the 0 of Scott Bloomquist. Auckland almost lost it in the middle of the straightaway. Car starting to act a little funny. Appears to have no problems down the back straightaway. Tim hit loose in turn 1 as he gets by R.J. Conley. Still third, Stuhler fourth, and Hartman right behind him in fifth. Coming around to complete lap 85. Rick Auckland, 15 laps to go in the 1997 Pittsburgher. 85 laps complete. Auckland has got more thick traffic in front of him. So he works down the back straightaway. Between a couple of cars in turns 3 and 4, Rod Conley and Bob Salathe. Down the backstretch, Auckland really has forward bite. Boy, he takes off coming off the corner. John Mason trying to stay on the lead lap. He was the leader at the midway point in the 72. Not far in front of the race leader, Rick Auckland. 12 laps to go. Auckland goes to the outside in turn 1. Bloomquist has cut that lead down. 11 laps to go. Still mighty comfortable, but it has decreased. 5 lap cars between first and second. And 10 laps to go for Rick Auckland. Tim hit in the 68, trying to reel in Scott Bloomquist for second. Stop in turn 2. Rick Eckert off the pace in turn 2. Caution is out. Rick Eckert in car 24. Stopping on the outside of the race.
12, the 25, the E1.
71 R.
Oh, good. 5, good. 77. And damn 77.
Win in the Penn National 100 last summer.
5-2.
He was his 8th. We're on the gas. Auckland slipping in turn 4. Auckland real slow on the restart, but gets a hold of the track coming off of 4. Tim hit in a 68, trying to get underneath Bloomquist for second on the back straightaway. In a thick of traffic. Auckland leads. Hit and Bloomquist battle for second. Off at 2, Hit again, side by side with Scott Bloomquist. Around to 30 of Steve Shaver, they head into turn 3. Hit unable to get clear Shaver right now. Now he'll make the pass off of 4. Auckland's lead almost a full straightaway again. And Tim Hit moves to second. Off of turn 2. Bloomquist back on the outside of Hit in turn 3. Tim Hit in second, Bloomquist third. Stuhler Steele fourth, Hartman fifth, Moran sixth, Arpa close seventh, Johnson is eighth. Six laps to go, 6 to go. Rick Auckland comfortably in front. Skip Arp has moved into the 6th spot in car 31. 5 laps remaining, 5 to go. Rick Auckland out in front by straightaway. Tim Hit, last year's winner, runs second. 3-time winner Scott Bloomquist third. Caution on the racetrack. Mike Balzano in the E1. Not yet. No caution yet. He's slowing down on the top side. Caution. Still no caution. Caution is out.
Oh, 68-0. No lap cars, 12, 68-0.
30 in again.
Nothing wrong with the E1.
Mike Balzano in the E1. Gary Stuhler is fourth in car 19. Bart Hartman fifth in car 75.
71-19, 25-75. 5, 2.
8625.
Green is out. Auckland down low. Here comes Hit and here comes Bloomquist. The green is out. 4 laps to go. It's showtime. Off of turn 2, still Rick Auckland, Scott Bloomquist, Tim Hit, Gary Stuhler. Off of 4, Bloomquist with the momentum on the outside. We've got 3 laps to go into turn number 1. Rick Auckland down low, Scott Bloomquist cemented to the outside wall. Auckland pulls him off at 2 down the back straightaway. Bloomquist closing as they race into 3. Hit third, Stuhler fourth. 2 laps to go. Down the front straightaway. Side by side for the lead into turn number 1. Stuhler has moved into third. Rick Auckland the better of the 2 cars in 1 and 2, and Bloomquist the quicker in 3 and 4. 1 more lap to go. 1 more lap to go. Into turn number 1. Rick Auckland leads Scott Bloomquist, Gary Stuhler, Tim Hit, Donnie Moran now trying to move to 4th around Hit. Auckland leads off at 2 down the back straight by 5 car lengths. Bloomquist is closing in. Here we come. The 1997 Pittsburgher 100. Auckland slips. Bloomquist is up high. Rick Auckland will win. Bloomquist second, Gary Stuhler third, Donnie Moran fourth, and Tim Hit fifth.
You guys want to spread out? Move over. Spread out.
It's working now.
Spread out.
It's working now.
Let's try it. All right. Okay, let's try this one more time. Rick, that was a pretty good run there. You kind of hung out in the top 5. Pretty good portion of the race. You're gonna have to move over. Pretty good portion of the race, but then the car finally came on at the end.
We seemed to get a little better the longer the green went. Really hated to see them last.
Over here.
Rick, over here?
Yeah.
Hey, Bradley.
Here.
One more right here.
Second and third place guy out here with it?
Hey guys, over here, please.
One more right here?
I know.
Hey, brother.
Rick Auckland, winner of the big Pittsburgher 100 here this weekend. Rick, you had a pretty strong race. You hung out in the top 5 most of the night, and then about two-thirds of the way through the race, you decided to make your move.
Well, I was trying to make my move a lot earlier than that, but it just, boy, everybody was running real hard, and the groove kind of kept moving around a little bit, and tires came in and out, and it just come down to a real close finish with Scott at the end, and lucky we came out on top.
The majority of the racers were running from either the middle to the high top of the track, but in the turns, you seem to have it down pat real well, down low.
Well, there was some moisture right next to the guardrail off of both ends, and if your car was free enough to turn the bottom and run straight off that, you could kind of hit that for a little momentum builder for the straightaway and then slide back out, and that's what I was trying to do at it.
That's got to especially feel good for you. It's been over a year since you've been in victory lane here at Pittsburgh's Pennsylvania Motor Speedway with the big win last year in the Penn National, so it's got to be pretty good for you.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's been pretty good to us. Well, this race last year we fell out with some problems, but we've only been here three times, I believe, and won 2, so we really like this place.
That's pretty good percentage race. Well, congratulations to you on a great race.
Thank you very much.
All right, Keith, let him go.
Here they come.
Of course, anytime there's radios, racing's got a lot of shit attached to it.
And backfired now.
Well, of course.
Do you think they sorted out on?
I think all 3 of us were talking all the way up here. We think they ought to eliminate radios come feature time in all racing because it's ruined dirt racing, or it's about to ruin it.
Yeah. A lot of radios are out there.
A lot of radio. Everybody's driving from the pits anymore, and it just takes the race out. Takes a lot of racing out of it. You come up on a guy and he's been running the bottom for 10 laps, and you're about to go by, and then he drives right up in your way and almost stuffs you. It's just not, it's just not racing.
Well, they say it's for safety, and then here.
They aren't for safety.
Where was his radio man when he plowed into the back of Conley? I mean,
Radios have never saved me from a wreck, ever.
Never, ever. Guy doesn't watch nothing. Your own guy don't watch nothing but you anyway. If there's a wreck, you see it before he does most of the time.
And I'll give you a story. It just happened to me last week. I'm leading the feature at Portsmouth, and I'm running the low groove. And I'm coming out of turn 2. And my pit man's standing in turn 3 on the outside looking at me, right? He says, "Caution, spin out in turn 2, go left." His left is my right. If I'd have listened to him, I'd have steered right into it. See, we're facing each other, so he's, that ain't.
It's enough to do in this sport without having to train people with radios. Plus, once you train them, who's going to drive them or you,
So we think it's like a lot of Winston Cup hooey. We're looking at Winston Cup races thinking that the spotters are helping them out, so we're supposed to think it's the same thing with you guys.
ain't no helping it. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of helping out. When somebody needs a caution and you got enough team cars out there, somebody will stop for you. You know, or when it's just not.
We're not here to say today was a bad race because of radios. This thing's been going on for 2 years, and this is no other day than the last 2-3 years have been. We're talking about one or two caution flags at the end of the race. Really, I got a lot of respect for the place. Put on a nice show, kept the racetrack nice, kept it moist enough when they needed to, so it didn't lay rubber and get streaky. You could race all day long. Cop hats off to them.
You guys compare the Pittsburgher to all the other big races going on. You guys can participate. You guys go all over the country. How's this thing rank compared to everybody else?
Nice race.
Good. It's a good. I'll tell you, it's a good facility. It's a good race to come to. We look forward to coming up here. As far as all the other races, I almost didn't come this year because I got offered a pretty good deal to go to another place because I looked at last year. We got beat on the last lap, and it went from 21,000 to 6 and 6,000. You know, you can cherry pick around and get 6,000 pretty easy these days. So to go from 21 to 6, it really takes a lot away from this race. He'd have been awfully disappointed if he'd have went from 21 to 6 on that last lap. I had it happen last year. He would have, you know, it don't feel too good.
You think that's a problem in racing a lot of places where the person's top-loaded?
It's not that way that many places anymore. They're usually always at least half of what the winner gets.
I noticed that, for example, the top is
Any good race is at least half. And when you drop as much as this one does, it takes a lot of for me, it takes a lot of the credibility from the race when it really has a tremendous amount with the professionalism, the way the show's put on, the way everything's done here, the facility, everything's first class, but then you have that element that takes it away from the drivers. You know, there's a lot of the, you know, and I can also, you know, who knows what the reason is, but it just seems to have not, some of the races, you know, maybe there's a problem keeping up with that, I don't know.
When did you decide to start moving to the top of the track? When we were all, of course, above watching Mason do it from the beginning, then you decided it seemed a little bit after.
I actually didn't have a tire that I ran. I was concerned with being able to run. When I saw him go up there, I didn't think he'd be able to stay up there, and then I saw him stick up there pretty well. He was on a little different tire than I was, and I still was concerned that I might not be able to, but I wasn't going good down anywhere else, so I decided I had to get somewhere at least where I could keep up. After I stayed up there a while, we got running a little bit better.
Rick, you decided to stay to the bottom the whole time.
Well, they said the longer the green went, the better we'd get, and I just kept sticking it out. We weren't real good on cautions. There was a little moisture on the bottom, and tires are perhaps a little hard for running in that moisture, so they would get better and better. And so I really didn't like to see them cautions, but that's racing.
You look stronger in 1 and 2 than you did in 3 and 4. Is that okay?
Yeah, I felt better there.
Did any of you thought Gary went and changed tires? Why? And did any of you consider that?
I had a hard tire on there at the beginning. It wasn't going nowhere. I mean, it was kind of passing cars, but I didn't feel like we could win the race. We just decided, being it was that early, they caution to go ahead and try going and get a different tire on and see if we could come from the back.
Softer tire?
The only way I would have considered, I would have loved to come in and change, but there's no way I would have considered it with all the radios and everything that they had now. The year that we did change, there wasn't no radios, and we got on the outside and came right back to the front because nobody could tell anybody how to block you, and it's too hard to get through 30 cars with radios.
This first year for this race for the halfway fuel stop, do you like it or does it matter? As far as
I personally don't prefer to stop once a race starts.
Right.
I'd rather race 100 too.
It didn't really.
didn't bother anything today. Nobody's tires sealed up or anything, but sometimes that has an effect. It didn't today, I didn't feel.
Yeah.
Rick, you've had sort of a roller coaster year. You win big races, then like you go to Hagerstown and you don't make the show, and win, don't make it.
That's good.
That's racing, right?
That's kind of my style. Run real good and real poor. So next week won't be real good.
Just been chassis in the middle of the year. Any comment on that?
CJ Rayburn's been a heck of a guy. Made it awfully easy to come to his camp, and builds a strong race car, and got nothing but good to say about him. For that matter, I got nothing but good to say about Ray Callahan and the Bullet cars I had previously. There's a lot of good people in this business.
Scott, your choice to go to Rayburn this year.
Yeah, just obviously made a lot of choices and changes, and that was just one of them. But just saw some things that were going on up there, and that's one of the people that I've never worked with in the sport that seemed to be real interested in working with me. And you know, sometimes you stay with something too long, and people get tired. We decided we needed to get there's some excitement again.
Read your interview with Jim Curry. How did you like doing what you have to do?
It's not too much. Won't make it. I won't make it a habit.
Next week, have a shootout. Who's going?